Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is SloyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara, and happy Yavlabokken falling over to all who celebrate. This has nothing to do with Hermitcraft, unless you consider the traditional Swedish hay goat that keeps getting set on fire to be a Doc M effigy. But if you do, this spells trouble for Doc M, because on the night of us writing this, it sort of got tired and laid down. But trouble for Doc M is sure coming, as the new top redstoner is arising on the server out of the most unlikely of sources. Yes, the joke is that it's B-dubs.
Sir, I'm doing mechanics here. I'm making a lamp.
In fact, under the loving eye of Etho, a whole arms race has been brewing between BOO and Good Times with Scar, in the most unlikely of ways. Or rather, in the most unlikely of ways. They're building increasingly complicated moss farms.
But you got it? You got it running?
Yeah, it works. I got bowmeal blocks now.
His own custom design too, somewhat.
B-Dubs' farm was intended as a bone meal factory and only spent a short amount of time producing cobblestone before it got fixed, but he's convinced enough that sabotage was involved that he pulls an Indiana Jones-style swap on Scar's farm, substituting the catalyst moss block for green wool, which is only an Indiana Jones-style swap because Scar notices what's missing immediately. We assume a giant boulder is headed BOO's way next time we see him, but let's be real, he'll probably just turn it into terrain. The best bit about this is, of course, that Scar is not actually selling his moss nor bone blocks, meaning they are only actually competing for Etho's approval. But even then, here's Tango Tech with an Ilmango designed steel chair.
Ready, set, Niner. Ready, set, go. I got one unit that's not working. I got no water.
And with all that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. One of which was Christmas.
It's Christmas time, oh goody.
And you can decide for yourself whether this was an event or a mishap, but apparently it's the latter if your name is Ijevin.
I got pranked. Call on the boat. I didn't even get a dang candy cane. Sorry, yeah.
On a stream which Joe edited down into a full Hermitcraft episode, the crew puts together some Shulkerbox gift hampers and play a game of Dirty Santa, or White Elephant, where they take turns collecting a box from under the tree, but if someone else likes the contents, they have an opportunity to steal it.
Ooh. Okay.
Jevin arrives later in mock anger about his base being pranked afterwards, but it turns out to be an excuse for Santa Etho to airdrop another present for Joe that misses the mark slightly.
Trying to set you up. Trying to set you up. That's what we're trying to do.
Joe's most happy with the other stuff he got for Christmas, like a brand new sea snail. Testing out the new Mounts of Mayhem features sends Joe out to tame and ride his first Nautilus. And despite the frightful Corsair Ijevin having raided so many of the nearby shipwrecks, Joe still tracks down buried treasure so he can armor his first Nautilus, although that ends up as part of his Secret Santa gift box, presumably because whoever obtains it can go on the naughty list.
You guys, you have 2 reasons to follow me now.
Speaking of the scary car downloader Ijevin, he's got his own list and he's checking it twice.
The first 3 people that I am going after, number 1, Cub fan. I saw. He was the one putting the snowman down, and then Joel was right next to him, and then Jim, because she was there too.
Having been pranked with snow golem stowaways over the Christmas stream, Jevin has already mounted a counterattack to those responsible, but most of all Cubfan135. Covering his home in snow was a given, but to really emphasize how jolly he feels about the situation, Jevin also builds an enormous snow golem to loom over the storage system. With that, there's 2 more victims remaining, though Jev announces he won't be uploading until the end of the holidays, which really just means he's investing some revenge into January.
But that doesn't mean that we can't do as much damage as humanly possible in the meantime.
For now, Cubfan has been too in the end dimension to actually notice. Having tired of the beloved Hermitcraft tradition to not do anything worthwhile with the central end island, Cub has begun transforming the place into a more palatable community space, which required it to first and foremost look like a pancake, apparently.
We've also added just a tiny little bit of decoration around the end portal besides the endstone brick slabs. We got some obsidian down, we got a few carpets down.
The flattening of the ends, it must be said, is done in part by harvesting the endstone using a wither and an etho, which is another in the emerging tradition of ethical farming that Cubfan now embraces. Why, his villager-based crop farm has little rooms for them to return and rest in, making it visually even more apparent that it's a prison.
The bottom story is going to be where the villagers just sort of chill, you know? They got like seats that they can like sit down in. They got like beds and stuff here we'll put down.
He at least uses hopper minecarts to gather the crops, meaning there isn't a perpetually starving guy anywhere in the design. To show their gratitude, the farmer villager Cub sells all the produce to literally fed him poisonous soup.
Buy some suspicious stews. Curious what these are gonna be. Let's see what it is. It's poison, yeah. Good job, guy. Poisoning the customers.
Meanwhile, Hypnotized extends his ruin to a whole new type of Minecraft society and demolishes a piglin bastion, seemingly just for blackstone brick.
We have been in the nether removing a bastion. You can see we collected quite a bit of material here.
An open letter, therefore, to Hypno for future exploits. They can just sell it to you. And by they, I mean Grian and LaudividniYT. They've got so much of the stuff. Stop by the tavern and grab it. With the blocks of old, Hypno now erects the monument to his hubris, but specifically the hubris from Season 1.
I've been at this for somewhat of a long time.
His base build turns out to be a new and improved version of his Season 1 pyramid, which goes really well with XP Crafted's pedestaled superflat just around the corner.
Was taking inspiration from XP's base. Not gonna lie, we're very close neighbors, so yeah, we're kind of matching.
XP delivers us a double bill almost as fast as his storage system delivers items, and almost as fast as someone delivered a snowman and some coal to his base.
Why'd I get coal? I've been awesome this season.
The one thing that's too slow for XP's tastes is his starter iron farm, so he rigs up a copper-plated version that produces 4 times the iron, just in time for a copper-plated Azuma to showcase his take on the copper golem illuminated floor.
It's not as good as yours, but like, it's different.
It's as good, just different.
Yeah.
All this delivery should be expected from FedXB at this point, and he's leaning into the name now with a new uniform designed by a community member and some custom wings, which he's also promised to Rendog as the magical item representing him.
Because I'm FedXB, right?
Yep, FedXB makes perfect sense.
When it comes to handling packages, though, he still wants to learn from the best, so he gets Etho to help him install a shulker box loader to package up the freshly crafted iron blocks from the snazzy new farm, and gets a free critique on his redstone shulker while he's at it.
Dude, XP. Okay, it's a redstone box, so you gotta tie it red. It's the rule.
After that, it's just a matter of how to ship the iron off to storage, and he can reconsider his life choices. Which brings us nicely to a week ago, because some life choices sure have been made. Imagine, it is 1 in the morning, and you are Sloy XP. For which I'm deeply sorry. You're woken up by a Discord message, and in your sleepy delirium, you just about make out that it's from the cool and famous Minecraft YouTuber Azuma Void, and he's asking you about the little green army men. The full blame here lays, as it often does, on Good Times with Scar, who a couple of weeks ago now has non-sequitured himself into mentioning the plastic toy soldiers, and of course, Azuma looked at his copper golems and realized they're little, green, and he has an army of them.
Little green army men, little green army men, little green army men, little green army men.
So X deploys the troops on Scar's Star Wars Hills, which is quite timely since Hoffen and him have figured out how to make the golems hold a spear threateningly. Azuma even keeps a couple of them for himself to stay guard at the golem mine's entry, probably watching more for the escapees than any invaders given how much time X had to invest in making sure the little guys won't dig their way to freedom.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Whew!
Anyway, having deployed over 1,000 copper golem statues at his friend's house, Azuma is now fully oxidized and ready to hibernate for the winter. Good Times with Scar only adds to the entity count of his base, adding live foxes into the mix, but only so that they will hunt down the chickens that found their way from Mumbo's farm spill.
This is Mother Nature, my friends. Oh my god, look at him go! Oh, this is... Whoa, he did a backflip!
Now all he has to do is release untamed wolves into the ecosystem to clear the fox population, and there won't be any problem at all, except for the live wolves, and the upcoming war with ostriches if this continues. While the ecosystem attempts to recover, Scar commits to his Star Wars theming and builds his rebel base hideout that dreadfully includes a golem assembly machine under a hill absolutely covered with them. Worry not, it also has respawn anchors for decoration, so the weak spot blueprints are real uncomplicated this time.
A space kitchen with kind of like a hose coming out of the ceiling for water, a reheater, we've got a stove, and some kind of potion brewing of space soup. So I'm very happy with this.
However, in between reinventing the tank girl aesthetic for the new generation, Scar takes a moment to return to his shopping duties and unleash Sheriff Skizzleman onto unsuspecting citizens.
We also could use a sheriff to enforce our non-existent rules. And there's only one person that I want for this job. Skiz, where are you?
Not right away, mind you. He gets teleported out into the end midway through the nighting. Turns out Scar managed to accidentally recreate an Enderpearl stasis chamber in the farm's bubble column. Joke's on them, False Symmetry has already locked up the only criminal tree on the server. She also put a different, bigger tree on top of its jail to really rub it in. Worry not, that tree is also surrounded by a fence, so it can't run away either.
I have, of course, added a railing. We've added some benches, of course, with the brand new shelves. I like that design, it's very cool.
False's cascading plant prison continues to evolve and even gets an actual cascade on the front of it, as she dips her feet into the animated landscape technology and also this water puddle for obvious reasons.
When I jump off this, I should land in the water. Whee! Okay, well, I guess I didn't jump in the right place for the water exactly, but here it is.
We now have confirmation that the book Rendog is carrying around in his offhand is not a mending book, mostly because he's been using it to block.
Actually, can you try punch me?
I mean,
Punch
you weren't
me.
being attacked, but...
Yes, it works. Oh, it's a counter spell.
But also because he turns up to buy half a shulker of mending books from False Symmetry, and who can blame him when the book llama is so frequently out of stock. But after a quick visit to a much snazzier looking end, he has fully enchanted equipment, as every good wizard should. We're waiting for the mana burn to set in any time now.
All I gotta do now is spend the next hour hacking away at these Endermen, grinding the levels. By the end of this, we should be able to upgrade all of the tools into awesomeness.
As he continues work on the Arcane Archives, it begins its life as a storage room disguised as a library and apparently built on an intersection of magical ley lines displayed within the foggy glass floor. Ren finishes up as much of the archive as he can before he heads away for the holidays, pausing only to visit Doc M77 and redefine Whimsy while he's there.
I've had an idea. What about a death metal rainbow, dude? Metal Whimsy.
You're genius, Your Majesty.
Yes, because it could be like this. Whimsy.
Impulse SV begins his episode with some maths. Ugh. We'll admit it's a necessary evil, especially since turning the entire walls of his silo into light grey concrete feels like an operation he'd want to get done in one go.
If we put that into this pixel circle generator, it's going to tell us how many blocks we need for the circumference, which in this case is 212. And that would be just one layer vertically.
And it does look much cleaner than the stone walls with blobs of diorite and granite in. Not done breaking blocks yet, Impulse heads up to the nether roof to crack into a sizable area of bedrock with Tango and Skiz's help, and in the process he discovers my new favourite method of breaking the unbreakable stuff.
I think this is a pretty decent size hole, I would say. I don't know what Gem had in mind.
Fortunately, the server still has enough bedrock left that he can cheese the wither, and pretty soon multiple beacon arrays are set up at his silo. He insists on calling them peacons, which is the most cursed thing we've heard this holiday season.
Like penta beacons, get it? Last season, Skiz called his quad beacon a queakin, so I feel like we can call this a peakin.
Let's just say I won't be looking at pecan pie quite the same way. Presumably as penance, Impulse digs straight down into both dripstone and lava, although thanks to a craftily placed water source, he survives both of them.
Okay, and perfect. Okay, now we're safe. Woo, that's why you do that. Oh!
So now you no longer have any excuse for dying in silly ways. And you can also follow his example to set up a control panel for each individual beacon effect using only a single redstone line, and about a full stack of observers to decode the button press from the signal strength and send it to the right piston. When he's not pulling the wool over Scar's moss farm, BOO has been working on some new tree designs, but getting distracted by candle parkour.
Now you can't jump up here because this is in the way, but you can jump on to here. Try again. I did it. And up.
It's not enough that Mojang recently made opaque leaves look way better. B-Dubs has to go one step further and shade the see-through foliage with solid blocks behind it. It's another showcase of how artistic block choices can give you control over the lighting of a scene, especially when the actual lights are either misbehaving themselves or being jumped on repeatedly.
Okay, we're gonna see this place at nighttime, hopefully. Somebody's sleeping right now. Here it is. Thanks a lot, Etho!
While he's misbehaving, B-Dubs decides to escalate the moss game by setting up a free moss pile in the shopping district, with a legitimate blue orchid stall just next door so people can maybe tip if they're feeling generous. And if you're happy to jump through all those hoops, maybe you're the right person to try ascending the spiral of candles in his garden plaza. The whole giveaway strategy risks to backfire severely once Tango Tech logs in, having discovered that he needs 1,000,000 blocks to build that mountain for Decked Out 3. And garden variety moss is certainly a lot of those blocks. Clearly not understanding at least one of the words in the whole minimum viable product concept, Tango embarks on the quest to gather, well, the all of it.
The gathering of the resources is its own mega project. It's going to take weeks.
This of course takes him to building stone, basalt and moss farming machines, and also to messing around poking dynamite with a stick, which sounds fun, safe and most of all necessary. Joel Smallish Beans actually discovers that the spear technology was designed to work better in combination with horses. He just seems to be combining them a little bit wrong.
Stupid child zombie, child stupid idiot around, meaning I can't sleep, and I don't actually have a bedroom in my house.
With enough horsepower, Joel is all charged up to unleash his powerful rainbow attack, and his nether portal becomes the chosen target. With whimsy and jolliness, Joel transforms the rogue rectangle into a welcoming lighthouse, which also houses his bedroom.
Here we do have a little interior for our bedroom here. We've got 3 beds we can click when we go to the nether, which is lovely.
And whatever gelatin remains, he puts into the colourful trees that tie the overall area together. That's not a pink pine, it just knows what he did to those horses. And finally, here's Wells Knight, who finds Pearlescent Moon just kind of staring into the sun.
And I didn't expect to zoom out and then just see you next to me.
Their chat helps Wells gather the inspiration for the inner courtyard of his Japanese castle, and hopefully gives Pearl's eyes time to recover. And if you were looking for at least someone stable on the server, you'll be happy to know that Wells Knight built some.
But now when the hermits come visit, they have a place to store their horses. They can chill in here, they'll be nice and safe.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is SloyXP and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next year.